The next question is that the Breath Hub has proposed to me here. What are some of the limitations of the breathing techniques that are out there? Okay, as compared to what we're talking about here. You know, what we're talking about here is not a particular technique. You'll find that by and large out there in the community where people do breathing work, it's all about techniques. It's all about using breath or breathing as a tool to do something, like relax or meditate or something like that. And there's really no addressing of the individual. It's all about this great technique that you can learn that's going to do these great things for you. It has nothing to do with you as an individual. The work that we do is called breathing behavior analysis. It's all about you, your history, the motivation that's behind the breathing that you do, the outcomes that sustain those habits that you have, the triggers that are involved that bring about that breathing habit. It's all about who you are from a breathing perspective. It's not about manipulating the breathing to get X, Y, or Z. It's about who are you? How do you breathe? How does it affect you? Under what circumstances do you breathe this way or that way? So we address the specifics of who you are as an individual, your history, what your habits are, and how you then can take the steps to overcome those habits. A prescription doesn't take into consideration all those individual differences. I could give you all kinds of examples. I've been asked here shortly to give you some examples, but what I'd like to say about, breathing techniques at large, most of them are prescriptive in nature, which may or may not be helpful to you. For example, when you ask someone to slow down their breathing and to get more calm and so on, there are a lot of people out there, when you ask them to slow their breathing down, it freaks them out. They don't like slowing down their breathing at all. They're very comfortable when they breathe fast. And what the hell's wrong with that? What's wrong with breathing fast? I don't really know. I don't think there's anything wrong with breathing fast unless the outcome of it is a problem. That is, if you are losing too much carbon dioxide or something like that, well, then that's an issue. But if you're comfortable with it, it's not an issue. If you're breathing fast and it makes you anxious, then it's not really about changing the breathing. It's about getting comfortable with breathing fast. That's a little different, isn't it? Most people say, yeah, you're breathing, you're anxious because you're breathing fast. Well, I would say actually in most cases it's because it's the breathing itself. It's not the breathing itself that's making you uncomfortable. It's that you've learned to be anxious when you breathe fast. So the objective here is to learn to breathe fast and be perfectly comfortable. Be perfectly comfortable breathing fast. If you tell someone that breathing fast is no good and that's the reason they're anxious, they're going to be afraid of breathing fast. That's exactly what you don't want. A person is afraid of breathing fast because you told them that's no good for them and that breathing slow is the right way. That's just nonsense. That's nonsense. You should be able to breathe real fast and be completely comfortable with it, or breathe slow and be comfortable with it. That's another kind of a breathing habit where, in essence, you breathe a certain way and it makes you anxious, or you breathe in a certain way and you get negative thoughts, or you breathe in a certain way and you take over the breathing because you think there's something wrong with that kind of breathing, so you take it over and then you get into trouble because now you've taken it over because you thought there was something wrong with it. So we don't teach people that fast breathing is bad at all. We try to get people to be comfortable with it, to play with the breathing, to become aware of the breathing and how it's affecting you. A partnership with your body is what it's about from our perspective. So let's move on to a last question, and then we're going to move to some case examples.